Good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time you're watching this video in class. As you see, I'm not here today, but I'm here in spirit as I go over your campus checkpoint number 3 with you so you know how you did. So I'm going to try to do this pretty quick. And again, as you're doing this, please grade with a red pen, which hopefully you have from the back, and just kind of write down anything that maybe would have helped you if you got the question wrong. But definitely pay attention and see how we do these problems. Okay, so number 1 says Medco delivers medical supplies and charges $10 for a house call. That means they come to the house, plus 50 cents per mile. Okay, so the $10 is the thing that happens one time. So if I was writing this equation, I would know that that's at the back, plus 10. So now I look at my equations, and this one says plus 10, this one says plus 10, this one says plus 10. But this one doesn't, so that's probably the first one I would cancel out. That's not going to be the answer. And I know that it's 50 cents per mile. Okay, so it's 0.5, and you can put 50, x plus 10. So that would be the equation for that. 50 cents per mile, your x will be your miles. As you look on the bottom here, you can figure that out. X down here, miles, so however far they drive, they multiply that times 0.50, which we should know is also a half. Okay, and then we look down at our answers, and we see that this is the answer. 1/2 x, or 0.50x, half a dollar per mile is what that means, plus the $10 fee just to show up. Okay, so there's the answer for number 1. Number 2, a salesperson receives a weekly salary plus a commission for each smartphone sold. We've talked about questions very similar to this in class. The table shown below shows the total pay, which is the letter P, okay, and that's in the equation over here, and the number of smartphones sold. Okay, so based on how many phones they sell shows their salary. So if they sell 4 phones, they make $550. If they sell 6 phones, they make $700. If they sell 8 phones, they make $850. So hopefully you can see that every 2 phones they sell is $150 more. Okay, which means every 1 phone they sell is $75. Okay, and we could also figure that out by doing the slope here, by working backwards. You can see that this is a change of 150. It's going down 150. This one's going down 2. So since they're both going the same direction, I have a positive slope of 75, so I should know that the equation starts out like this, 75x. And then if I look at my answers, well, they're using a different letter. We used x like normal, but they used n for the number of phones. And as you can see, answer F is the only one that has that. Now, if we wanted to find the y-intercept, which if you normally on a test like this, they would have at least 2 answers that started with 75n. So that once you figured out only half the problem, you'd have to then figure out the next part. Okay? So let's figure out, I have to keep working to get to what the 0 would be. So the next number in my succession here is if I did a 2, and again this would go down 150, so that would put me at 400. Okay, and then one more, which puts me at 0. If I take away 150 again, that puts me at 250, and that's where they get the plus 250 at the back. So if we wanted to read this, we'd say how much he makes is equal to $75 per phone plus $250. And that means if he didn't sell any phones, he'd still make $250. But hopefully he sold some phones so he could take some money home. Okay, number 3, which of the following does not, very important word here, does not represent a function? Well, remember, functions do not have repeating x values. Okay, so if I look at this one, 3 goes with 12, 6 goes with 12, 9 goes with 8, and 12 goes with 4. And since all of these x values only go with one y value, that one is a function, which means if I'm looking for the ones that aren't, that's not an answer. Right here I got 1, 10, 5, 8, 4, 6, 1, 4, 7, 2. So if I look closely, I see that these ones repeat. And if that ever happens, that means it's not a function, So that's your answer. And you always want to check the other ones too, just to make sure. Again, this straight line is a function because it's a straight line. There's no points above. There's no points. Remember, when we do functions on a graph, it's a straight line, or it's just not a line that has 2 points above each other. So like if there was a point up here, that would be not a function. But since this doesn't have that, this is a function. And then here, again, my x values are my first numbers, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as you see, those do not repeat, so that just confirms that answer B is our choice. All right, turn your page to number 4. All right, the association between hours of sleep and reaction time is shown in the graph below. Okay, so if I look at these, I see that the amount of sleep you get makes your reaction time, well, if you don't get much sleep, your reaction time is slower. And this is a negative slope coming down this way. And it says using a trend line, which is just which way this is headed, okay, make a good prediction of the reaction time of a person with 10 hours of sleep. So 10 hours, these are going by 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is right here. Okay, so if I come up here, I'm looking for a point somewhere in here. So a little lower than 0.4 would be a good estimate. But if I look at my answers, 0.4, 0.1 would be way down here. Okay, and that really wouldn't be a very good choice, because 0.1 would be probably past 10 somewhere. Okay, so 0.1 is not a good choice. 1.2 is way up here. That's not a good choice. And 0.8 is also up here. So our answer for that one is F, 0.4 seconds. All right, number 5. What can you conclude about the data in the graphical representations shown below? So I got 4 different graphs, and if you look at them, they're all, and if you just don't even look at the answers first, you should be able to see what's not the same about one of these. So this has a curve to it. This one's a straight line. This one would have a curve to it. And this one, although most of it's a straight line, this one point here would make it a bit weird. So graphs 1, 2, and 3 suggest a linear relationship. Well, again, linear means straight line, and this isn't a straight line, and this is graph 1, so that's not the answer. Graphs 1, 2, 3, and 4 suggest a non-linear relationship. Well, that's close, but this one is linear, so that makes that not the answer. Answer C, graphs 2 and 4 suggest a linear relationship. Well, here's graph 2, and that one is linear, but when I come over here, this one is not, because it's got that up there, that point that makes the graph go up for a bit and then come back down. So that's non-linear. So that one's not right. So although it's probably the last one, we still want to check. Graphs 1, 3, and 4, again, IV, it tells you right there, that's Roman numeral 4, suggest a non-linear. So yes, this one is non-linear, this one is non-linear, those 3 are non-linear, number 2 is linear, so answer for this one is D. All right, number 6, which of the following graphs represent a function? Well, again, functions, when we look at graphs, cannot have points above and below them on the same line. So you can't have any that you would connect like that. So if I look at this one, I got those 2 points and those 2 points. Okay? So those make those. This one is not a function, and this one is. So when I look at my answers, graph 1 is a function. Well, no, it's not. Graph 2 is a function. Graph 2 is a function, and then the last one says graph 1 is a function. So my 2 answer choices are G or H. Now I got to figure out which description tells us this. Remembering that our x values are our input. Okay, x is input. So graph 2 is a function because each input value is based, can't read. Graph 2 is a function because each input value is paired with only one output value, and that's exactly true right here. Every input down here only has one output, so answer G, because answer H probably says the opposite of that. Graph 2 is a function because each output value is paired with only one input value. No, that's not it. You can only have one input value for each output, so it's answer G. All right. Number 7, which relationship is an example of a proportional function? Again, proportional means straight line going through 0, 0. It won't have anything like a fee or something associated with it, because when we have fees like this one over here that we did, I'll just turn back real quick. This one here had a $10 fee. That house call is a fee, so the graph started here at 10. So when you hear a fee, that means it's not going to be a proportion, because it's not going to start at 0, 0. So if I read through this, a rental company charges $80 per day and a one-time fee of $30. Well, that's y equals 80x plus $30. That plus 30 makes that not a proportion. A gym membership costs $25 per month and a sign-up fee. Again, we got a fee. So it's 25 a month plus a $45 fee. That 45 makes it not a function, or not proportional. Sorry. Probably said that for the first one too. Not a proportion. Her answer C, a salesperson earns $150 per week. That's it. No fees associated with that one. So that means that would start at 0, 0, because if they work 0 weeks, they'd get $0. And then the last one, just to check, a phone company charges $2 for the first minute and 50 cents for each additional minute after that. So that $2 is the fee. So yeah, that just proves that the answer for that one is C. All right, number 8. The table below shows the relationship between the temperature and the depth of water. What is the slope of the line represented by the data in the table? Okay, again, to find slope, we work this way. Okay, and it's telling you that this is a line. What is the slope of the line? Okay, so that means you can figure out the slope just by doing your y's minus your x's. Okay, I'm sorry, your y's minus each other on the top and your x's minus each other on the bottom. Okay, and you only got to do one. You don't have to, I mean, this one might be an easier one, but I'll probably do that one just to show you get the same answer. But to go from negative 64 to negative 34 is up 30, which is important to know, because when you go this way, you got 35 to 20 is minus 15, and that makes our answer, when we divide 30 by 15, negative 2. So that should be the answer you filled in here. So which means you have to fill in the 2, that, and you've got to fill in that negative sign. Okay, that's part of the new charts that we fill out for this year. You have to indicate if it's a negative. If it's a positive, you don't have to indicate it. It will automatically make it positive, but if it's a negative, you have to put that bubble in there. And just so you see, I would have got the same answer if I did this one here to here. Negative 18 to 0 actually is going up 18, and 12 down to 3 is going down 9. So as you see, positive 18 divided by negative 9 is negative 2. So however way you did it, if you did this middle one here, this way to this way, you'd have got the same answer, negative 2. And I figured that's probably going to be the most missed one, because that honestly was probably a little bit tough. But with all the work we've done with slope, you should be able to handle that one. Okay, number 9. Gym A charges $50 per month plus $8 per visit. The total monthly cost at Gym B is represented by the equation y equals 10x plus 30. That means there's a fee of 30, and it's $10 a month. And $10 a visit, each visit. X is the number of visits per month. So if you go 0 times, you still got to pay that $30. If you go 10 times, 10 times 10 is 100, plus 30, 130. So that's how that would work. Which equation represents the linear relationship of the monthly cost of membership for Gym A? So after all this information about Gym B, they don't even care about it. They only want to know how we'd write the equation for Gym A. So it was $50 per month plus $8 per visit. So $50 per month, that's the one-time fee. $8 per visit, that would be how you'd write the equation for that one. $8 per visit plus the $50 fee. And as we look over here, they try to trick you with that one, don't they? 50 cents. If you don't see that decimal, you might pick that one. It's actually answer D. And last but not least, number 10. Which of the following situations are proportional? Well, if I look at this one, that plus 9 means if I graphed it, it would start at positive 9, not at 0, 0. So it's not that one. This one might be. Let's go to this one just to see, because you should be able to eliminate this one right here, because it starts at 300. So that's not proportional. So even if we're not sure about this, when we look at the answers, we know 1 and 3 are not. So which of the following are proportional? 1 and 3 are not So that's not the answer. 2 only, well, I'm guessing it's got to be that one, right? Because we know it's not 3 only, because that's definitely not 1. And 1, 2, and 3 aren't either. Okay, so all you have to do to figure this out, remember, is if every time you divide y by x, you get the same answer, it is proportional. So, this divided by this is 5. This divided by this is 5. This divided by this is 5. And since you have a calculator, if you put this in, 32.5 divided by 6.5, you would get 5. So that makes it a proportion. And your answer is G. Okay, so there is the overview of your checkpoint. Count how many you missed. They are 10 points each, because there's 10 of them. All right. You also want to make sure that after you write your grade on it, that you give it back to Mrs. Whitworth, since she's your sub for today, and we will get them back to you at the beginning of next week. So I will see you Tuesday, and I am at my brother's wedding in Galveston, just so you know. I'm not just taking a day off. So I will see you Tuesday, and hope you had a good weekend, and hope everything is well. Okay, see you later.